According to the World Bank, India would need to invest $840 billion over the next 15 years, that is, an average of $55 billion each year, to meet the demands of its fast growing urban population. The latest report, titled Financing India's Urban Infrastructure's Needs, Constraints to Commercial Financing and Prospects for Policy Actions, put forth the urgent requirement to leverage greater private and commercial investments to meet the emerging financial gaps. Financing on a repayable basis can be done either through debt, private lending, or public private partnership investments. These require a recurrent source of revenue to meet obligations, thus mandating raising adequate resources. Much of the urban infrastructure in India is financed by tied intergovernmental fiscal transfers, that is, vertical and horizontal transfer of finance for attaining certain objectives subnationally. Of the finances needed to fund capital expenditures for Indian cities, 48% is derived from state governments, 24% from the central government, and 15% from urban local bodies on surplus. The rest includes public-private partnership, commercial debt, and loans from Housing and Urban Development Corporation. The report argues that the overall funding base to raise commercial revenues appears to be low, owing to weak fiscal performance of cities and low absorptive capacity for the execution of projects. The report states that city agencies have been unable to expand their resource and funding base to support private financing for services such as water supply, sewerage networks, and bus services, as they are highly subsidized. The central idea is to increase cities' fiscal base and creditworthiness. For improving their fiscal base, it states cities must institute a buoyant revenue base and be able to recover the cost of providing its services. The latter would be attained by revising property taxes, user fees, and service charges, among other streams, from the current low base. The National Commission for Women (NCW) has launched the fourth phase of Digital Shakti campaign for digitally empowering and skilling women and girls. The Digital Shakti 4.0 is focused on making women digitally skilled and aware to stand up against any illegal, inappropriate activity online. NCW launched the campaign in collaboration with Cyber Peace Foundation and Meta. Rekha Sharma, chairperson NCW, said that the commission has made continuous efforts to empower women in every sphere across the country. This new phase will prove to be a milestone in ensuring safe cyber spaces for women. Digital Shakti has been accelerating the digital participation of women and girls by training them to use technology to their advantage and to keep themselves safe online. I believe the project will continue to contribute towards the larger goal of fighting cyber violence against women and girls and make internet a safer space for them, she said. Digital Shakti started in June 2018 to help women across the nation to raise awareness level on digital front, to build resilience and fight cyber crime in the most effective ways. Through this project, over 3 lakh women across India have been made awareness of cyber safety tips and tricks, reporting and redressal mechanisms, data privacy, and usage of technology for their benefits. India and Australia convened their 5th bilateral cyber policy dialogue on Wednesday in New Delhi. The cyber policy dialogue was held under the auspices of India-Australia Framework Arrangement on Cyber and Cyber-Enabled Critical Technology Cooperation and Plan of Action 2022-2025 for a comprehensive and deeper cyber cooperation. The dialogue was co-chaired by Joint Secretary, Cyber Diplomacy Division, Ministry of External Affairs. The Indian delegation consisted of senior officials from National Security Council Secretariat, Home Ministry, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Department of Telecommunications, CERT in, and National Critical Information Infrastructure Protection Center. The Australian delegation comprised of senior officials from Department of Foreign Affairs, Trade Department of Home Affairs, Department of Industry Science and Resources, and the Australian Federal Police. The Cyber Policy Dialogue provides a bilateral platform to discuss a range of high profile issues of mutual interest. Discussions at this dialogue included strategic priorities, cyber threat assessment, next generation telecommunications, including 5G technology, capacity building, and cooperation in Indo Pacific region, and the latest developments in cyber at the United Nations. Australia and India agreed to explore opportunities for further collaboration with the private sector and academia. Countries will jointly conduct a cyber boot camp as well as cyber and tech policy exchanges in collaboration with Indo Pacific partners. The sixth India Australia Cyber Policy Dialogue will be held next year. India has said the longer the reforms in UN Security Council are stalled, the greater will be its deficit in representation. India's permanent representative to the UN, Ruchira Kamboj, said while delivering G4 statement at the UN General Assembly on equitable representation of the UN Security Council. Ms. Kamboj said reforms in the Security Council is an inescapable precondition for its legitimacy and effectiveness. The ambassador said more than the item on equitable representation in the Security Council was included on the General Assembly agenda more than 40 years ago in 1979. Ms. Kamboj said there is simply no reason to leave Security Council out of the reform process when many other major international institutions have made strides to change and adapt. Speaking on behalf of the G4 countries Brazil, Germany, Japan, and India, four nations uphold the need for a comprehensive reform of the Security Council with the expansion of seats in both categories of membership, equitable regional representation, more transparent and inclusive working methods, and an enhanced relationship with other UN bodies, including the General Assembly. India's permanent representative stressed it is high time to bring the Security Council in line with its charter responsibility to act on behalf of the entire membership. She said this will not be achieved without enhancing the membership in both categories. India recently submitted its long-term low-emission development strategy to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change during the 27th conference of COP27. The focus will be on rational utilization of national resources with due regard to energy security. The transition from fossil fuels will be undertaken in a smooth, just, sustainable, and all-inclusive manner. National Hydrogen Mission launched in 2021 aims to make India a green hydrogen hub, increase use of biofuels, especially ethanol blending in petrol, the drive to increase electric vehicle penetration, and the increased use of green hydrogen fuel are expected to drive the low carbon development of the transport sector. Smart city initiatives, integrated planning of cities for mainstreaming adaptation and enhancing energy and resource efficiency, effective green building codes, and rapid developments in innovative solid and liquid waste management. India is on track to fulfilling its NDC commitment of 5 to 3 billion tons of additional carbon sequestration in forest and tree cover by 2030. Provision of climate finance by developed countries will play a very significant role and needs to be considerably enhanced. India is committed to pursuing low carbon strategies for development and is actively pursuing them as per national circumstances. India needs to build climate resilience. The two themes of climate justice and sustainable lifestyles, alongside the principles of equity and common but differentiated responsibilities and respective capabilities in the light of national circumstances that India had emphasized at Paris, are at the heart of low carbon, low emission future. India's first ever private launch of Vikram suborbital rocket will take place at the Satish Dhawan Space Center, Sriharikota on 17th November. All arrangements are in place for the rocket to be launched at around 11:30 am. The countdown of the launch will begin at 8:30 am. The mission Prarambh will carry three customer payloads: Space Kids India, Basum Armenia, and Yen Space Tech India. The one stage rocket is equipped with sensors for securing data, including measurement of acceleration and pressure. This mission is a milestone in the history of ISRO. A non-government entity, the startup Skyroot Airspace Private Limited, had developed the single-stage Vikram suborbital rocket. Weighing 550 kg, the rocket will reach a maximum altitude of 101 km and is expected to splash in sea after an overall duration of 300 seconds post-launch. These rockets require minimum range infrastructure and can be assembled and launched within 24 hours from any launch site. Skyroot was the first startup to sign an MOU with ISRO for launching its rockets. Union Minister of Space Dr. Jitendra Singh is expected to participate in the launch. The Skyroot startup is planning to send more than 20,000 small satellites in the coming decade. Vikram series is named after Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, the father of Indian space science. The rocket was designed to enable this unprecedented mass producibility and affordability. India has improved its position by 6 slots and is now placed at 61st rank as per Network Readiness Index 2022 report released recently. In its latest version of 2022, the report maps the network-based readiness landscape of 131 economies based on their performance in 4 different pillars: technology, people, governance, and impact. India has not only improved its rank but also improved its score from 49.74 in 2021 to 51.19 in 2022. The report states that India secured first rank in AI talent concentration, second rank in mobile broadband internet traffic within country and international internet bandwidth, third rank in annual investment in telecommunication services and domestic market size, fourth rank in ICT services exports, fifth rank in FTTH and building internet subscriptions, and AI scientific publications. The report was prepared by the Portland Institute, an independent, non-profit, non-partisan research and education institute based in Washington, D.C. The report mentioned that India has a greater network readiness than would be expected given its income level. The country is ranked third out of 36 in the group of lower middle income countries after Ukraine and Indonesia. Winter session of Parliament will commence on 7th of next month and continue till 29th of December. The session will have 17 sittings spread over 23 days. Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha secretariats have notified the dates. Parliamentary Affairs Minister said that he is looking forward to constructive debate and discussions on legislative business and other items during the session. Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports recently announced National Sports Awards 2022. India's table tennis star Ajanda Sharat Kamal has been conferred with Major Dhyanchand Khel Ratna Award for 2022. Seema Punia and Lakshya Sen were amongst the Arjuna Award winners for this year. Eldos Paul, Avinash Mukund and Niket Zareen were also conferred with Arjuna Awards. The Dronacharya Award for Outstanding Coachings in Sports and Games regular category went to Jivanjot Singh Teja for archery, Muhammad Ali Khamar for boxing, Suma Siddharth for parachuting and Sujit Mann for wrestling. Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna. It is the highest sporting honor of India. It was instituted in 1991-92. The recipients are honored for their outstanding performance in the field of sports over a period of 4 years at international level. Dronacharya Awards. It was instituted in 1985 to honor eminent coaches for producing medal winners at prestigious international sports events. Arjuna Awards. It was instituted in 1961. To be eligible for the award, a sportsperson should have had not only good performance over the previous 4 years at the international level, but also should have shown qualities of leadership, sportsmanship, and a sense of discipline. Dhyan Chand Award. It was instituted in 2002. It is an award for lifetime achievements in sports. Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad Trophy. It was instituted in 1956-57 to honor the top overall performing university in the inter-university tournaments. Rashtriya Khel Protsahana Puraskar. It was instituted from 2009 to recognize the corporate entities both in private and public sector and individuals who have played a visible role in the area of sports promotion and development. University Grants Commission UGC has finalized the framework for the 4-year undergraduate program that will be implemented in all higher education institutions from the upcoming academic section 2023-24. The rules for these courses will be shared with all universities next week. The 4-year undergraduate program will be implemented in all 45 central universities and most of the state and private universities from the next academic section. The Union government has recently approved Vostro accounts for 9 Russian banks to help promote trade in rupees. Russia becomes first country to facilitate rupee-based export-import transactions. The move will facilitate India's exports to sanction-hit Russia, which reported a 24% decline in the April-August period. The RBI designed mechanism only entails trade in the Indian rupee, eliminating exchange risk. To facilitate trade through this route, the government, through an amendment in the foreign trade policy, recently allowed exporters to avail of incentives or duty rebates for settling trade in rupee terms. Nostro account is an account held by a bank in another bank. It allows the customers to deposit money in the bank's account in another bank. It is often used if a bank has no branches in a foreign country. The main difference between a deposit account and a Nostro account is that the former is held by individual depositors, while foreign institutions hold the latter. A Vostro account is just another name for a Nostro account. It is an account held by a bank that allows the customers to deposit money on behalf of another bank. A Nostro account is a Vostro account for the bank that opens the account. If a person deposits money in the Vostro account, it will be transferred to the account holder's bank. Government of India has declared 15th November as Janjatiya Gaurav Divas, dedicated to the memory of brave tribal freedom fighters. The Commission for Scientific and Technical Terminology will soon launch Shabdashala, a website to invite suggestions for translation of words that are recent additions to the English language. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar recently addressed the East Asia Summit. Indian Army celebrated 242nd Corps of Engineers Day on 18th November. Prime Minister Modi officially inaugurated Kashi Tamil Sangam on 19th November.